The drive from Caen to Normandy was a scenic break from the city travels we had become more accustomed to. Our bus shortly reached the small fishing port of Arromanches Les Bains. This place was once part of the Gold Beach landing area, the center of the 5 beaches involved in the Normandy invasion, which was taken by the British 50th Division on D-Day, June 6, 1944. No unit had actually landed here on the beach, and the regiment that was to capture Arromanches began their advancement from the west, starting from their entry point of Asnel, and eventually captured the radar station at the top of the eastern plateau. After pockets of resistance were destroyed, the village had been liberated. Remnants of a bridge made of steel supports and floating piers still remain that once made up a key artificial harbor used by the Allies to unload supplies and allow the disembarkation of 9,000 tons of material per day. To memorialize the brave men who had once fought here, monuments erected on the site have supplemented the tourists who now visit the area. Walking on historic ground is an experience that allows one to imagine the impact of such an important victory. This beautiful area on the outskirts of France had once been fought over by powerful opposing forces. As we stand over this scenic yet dangerous cliffside, we wonder what both sides might have believed. Our next destination was to the Normandy American Cemetery and World War II Memorial. A certain reverence could be found as we approached the Wall of the Missing, where the names of 1,557 service members declared missing in action during Operation Overlord could be read. This was the first American cemetery on French soil from World War II. The area covers 172.5 acres and contains 9,388 individual burials. The memorial includes depictions of maps and details of the Normandy landings and additional military operations. At the heart of the rounded architecture stands a bronze statue of the spirit of American youth rising from the waves. Below the statue, an engraving can be found reading, "To these we owe the high resolve that the cause for which they died shall live." Though the land is still owned by France, it is maintained by the US government, and the American flags fly proudly over these hallowed grounds. No one is permitted to set foot on the grass, with the only exception being that an individual is related to one among the fallen. Having visited the other Normandy beaches, prominent battlefields where events that changed the world forever took place, one cannot help to find a strong sense of gratitude for those who sacrificed themselves for the good of others. A multi-confessional chapel stands at the center of the cemetery. The words upon the marble altar read, "I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish." Each grave in the cemetery is marked by a white Lhasa marble headstone in the shape of a Latin cross. These represent the Catholics and Protestants that perished during the war, while Jewish burials are marked with the Star of David. A total of 307 unknown soldiers are buried among the other service members. Those living today have a brighter future because of what these men gave. It is easy to take our daily lives for granted, but this land allows us to experience a fraction of understanding for what the price of that victory had cost, and who we should ultimately be indebted to. Where might we be today if the war's outcome had gone another way? This is truly a beautiful sanctuary that we had been lucky to visit, and with such perfect weather. When thinking about World War II, I certainly have found a stronger connection by personally experiencing a place like this. I believe this place allows its visitors to leave with a greater sense of respect for the lives given in defense for all we are blessed to have.